Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're embarking on a deep dive into some really, well, radical ideas from Jesus, famously known as the Beatitudes, right? Found in Matthew chapter 5, verses 1 to 12. You've probably heard the blessed are statements, but have you ever really, paused to consider what it truly means to embody qualities like being poor in spirit or meek, especially in a world that often demands, self-promotion, power, getting ahead? Our mission today is really to explore how these ancient attitudes show up, how they manifest in real life situations. Things like navigating job loss or engaging with social justice or even just fostering authentic friendships. It's a compelling exploration of some surprising and often quite challenging declarations.
It really is an essential journey. These declarations, they aren't just quaint sayings from long ago. They offer a completely different blueprint for living, one that is often, profoundly countercultural. It really goes against the grain of what we usually think of as normal.
When I first read these, my instinct was kind of, okay, this is a checklist, a list of virtues. But what really strikes me now is that they feel less like rules to follow and more like a description of a character, a type of person. Am I picking up on that right, or is there more to it?
No, you've hit on a really crucial point there. The Beatitudes are often called the ethics of the kingdom, precisely because they describe the kind of people God values, the kind of people God blesses.
Yeah.
Even when, maybe especially when, society might dismiss them or even actively oppose them, pretty much every single one is a direct challenge to worldly wisdom.
Yeah.
Think about blessed are the meek.
Right.
I mean, that's the complete opposite of the relentless drive and self-assertion that, hustle culture promotes today, isn't it?
Totally. It's jarring.
It is. And it's also really vital to clarify. Jesus wasn't saying go seek hardship. He wasn't advocating for people to seek poverty or persecution just to somehow earn favor or blessing. Instead, he was outlining the fundamental nature, the core character of individuals who are aligned with God's kingdom. And in doing that, he promised this eternal, transformative, and truly revolutionary reward, something the world just cannot offer.
You've really highlighted how radical these ideas are. It does make me wonder, though, has anyone actually lived them out, like in a truly impactful way throughout history?
Oh, absolutely. It's one thing to hear the words, right? But it's another thing entirely to see them embodied in someone's life. Take Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the German pastor, theologian who resisted the Nazis.
Ah, yes.
He famously wrote in The Cost of Discipleship something like, when Christ calls a man, he bids him come and die. For Bonhoeffer, the Beatitudes weren't just abstract ideals you talk about. They were matters of life and death. They required immense personal sacrifice. Being a peacemaker in Nazi Germany, for him, that was what he called costly discipleship.
Costly discipleship.
Yeah, it meant personal sacrifice, even facing prison and ultimately execution. It wasn't passive acceptance of evil, it was active resistance, rooted in these very principles.
Wow, that's a powerful testament to the intensity of these teachings.
And if you step back even further in time, Augustine of Hippo, centuries before Bonhoeffer, he shared a similar understanding. He noted something along the lines of, the Beatitudes are the perfect standard of the Christian life. But, he added, they require grace to live. His emphasis was on divine empowerment. It's grace, not grit, that allows us to walk this path.
Grace, not grit. I like that.
And then, much more recently, we see echoes in Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He profoundly embodied mercy. He tirelessly pursued peacemaking, even when it was dangerous. And he endured severe persecution for righteousness' sake. And in doing so, he fundamentally changed the world.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's clear that the Beatitudes consistently challenged the prevailing culture, whether that was ancient Rome or, modern society today.
That's a truly compelling lineage of commitment. It really brings it to life. But to bring this even closer to home for you listening, let's maybe explore a real-life experience, something that illustrates the Beatitudes' impact today. Imagine facing a significant challenge where living out one of these principles truly puts you to the test.
Well, I can share a story about a man named Marcus. This happened a couple of years ago. Marcus lost his job, and he lost it after reporting some pretty serious unethical practices at his company. Understandably, his immediate reaction was, anger, a real sense of injustice.
Sure, anyone would feel that.
Right. But then, as he was processing it all, the phrase, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, it just resonated deeply with him, started clicking. It helped him shift his focus away from just personal vindication, getting his own back, towards a broader, higher purpose, trusting something bigger. But the struggle was very real. I mean, he was unemployed for 6 months.
6 months, wow.
Yeah. And the temptation to become bitter, or maybe even seek revenge, It was immense. Yet he held onto that beatitude. He kept coming back to it.
Okay.
And slowly, almost, miraculously, doors began to open. Things started changing. Now, today, Marcus actually mentors others in workplace ethics through his church. He turned that incredibly painful season into a really powerful ministry.
That's incredible.
The perfect example, I think, of how the Beatitudes don't just shape our internal world or feelings. They actively transform our external reality, often through discomfort, definitely, but always towards a truly fruitful outcome in the end.
That's an amazing story of resilience, really,
Yeah.
and transformation. So, okay, what does this all mean for us? Right now in our daily lives, let's maybe try a practical, almost rapid-fire exploration of each beatitude, focusing on their modern implications, like beatitudes for everyday believers. How does that sound?
Absolutely. Let's unpack them. Let's do it. First, blessed are the poor in spirit. Now, this isn't about lacking material things, not primarily. It's about a deep humility, an honest acknowledgement that, we don't have all the answers. We don't have all the strength within ourselves, practically. It means resisting today's really intense self-sufficiency culture.
Right, the pull yourself up by your bootstraps idea.
Exactly. The culture that tells us we need to hustle and build our own empires all by ourselves. This is about finding peace and dependence on something, someone greater.
Okay, what's next?
Then blessed are those who mourn. This speaks to a profound empathy, a willingness to actually sit with and feel the pain of the world, our own pain, others' pain, rather than just numbing it with distractions, which is so easy to do. It's about facing suffering, but with hope, allowing grief to move us towards compassion and maybe even action.
Facing it with hope. Okay.
Then blessed are the meek. This one is so often misunderstood as weakness, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
But it truly means strength under control, power restrained. Imagine a leader who inspires through, quiet confidence and collaboration, rather than just bulldozing others to get ahead or demanding all the attention. It's about exercising power, but with gentleness.
Strength under control. I like that framing.
Then, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. These are the justice seekers, but not motivated by, fleeting political trends or just being on the right side. It's a deep, almost visceral craving for God's concern for the broken and the oppressed, to be made real in the world. They actively pursue fairness and moral rectitude because they long for it.
Like a real hunger.
Yes, exactly. Then, blessed are the merciful. Wow, this is truly radical today, especially in what some call cancel culture. It means actively choosing to extend grace, to seek understanding even when it's hard, and to hold on to the belief that people are redeemable, even when maybe the online mob is demanding their complete erasure. It's an active resistance to dehumanization.
That's a tough one.
It really is. Okay, blessed are the pure in heart. This defines an undivided loyalty to God, integrity. It manifests as this profound consistency where your private thoughts and your public actions actually line up. There's no hidden agenda, no pretense. What you see is what you get.
Authenticity.
Authenticity, exactly.
Yeah.
Then, blessed are the peacemakers. Now, these are distinct from mere peacekeepers, people who might just avoid conflict at all costs to keep things smooth on the surface.
Right, smoothing things over versus actually fixing them.
Precisely. Peacemakers are active bridge builders.
Yeah.
They intentionally work to reconcile divisions, step into the mess, even in areas of deep political, social, or racial polarization. They step into the conflict to bring actual resolution, not just silence.
Bridge builders. Okay. And the last one.
And finally, blessed are those persecuted for righteousness. This means standing for truth, but doing it with grace, even when it incurs significant costs. Maybe losing friendships, maybe losing jobs, maybe even facing threats to your safety. It's a courageous willingness to suffer for what is right, for aligning with God's way. So when you look at them all together, these Beatitudes, they really serve as a powerful rebuke, a challenge to our pride, our desire for comfort, our consumerism. But maybe more profoundly, they're also an open invitation to deep joy, to true purpose, and to finding a distinct identity that's shaped by a different kingdom altogether.
That's a lot to take in. It really does shift how you think about these familiar phrases. So for someone listening right now, maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed or inspired or both, where do you even begin? How do you start applying these insights? What's a one actionable step we can take away from this deep dive today?
Yeah, good question. My practical takeaway would be start small. Don't try to tackle all 8 at once. Pick just one beatitude, the one that particularly resonated with you or maybe challenged you the most during our discussion, and then intentionally pray it into your life for the next week. Just focus on that one. For example, you could simply ask, Lord, how can I be a peacemaker? Maybe just in my family or in my workplace this week.
Okay, just one specific area.
Exactly. Keep it focused. And then be attentive. Watch for opportunities, maybe small ones, to actually embody that principle. And remember, this isn't supposed to be a solo project.
Right.
You're not trying to achieve this through sheer willpower. It's about leaning on, well, a deeper source of strength, what Christians call the Holy Spirit. Trusting that Spirit to help shape you gradually into a beatitude person.
Start small, pick one, play it in, and watch. That's tangible. That's a powerful challenge. And maybe to leave you with a final thought, the theologian John Stott once said something really potent. He said, "The Beatitudes depict the essential character of the Christian disciple. They are not optional extras."
Not optional extras.
Yeah. So perhaps the challenge for all of us is to aspire to be disciples who are ultimately not shaped by the culture around us, but shaped by the cross. Something to think about.